few months ago that if I wasn't going to do it before, something happened a couple months ago.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
And they use those big lips to do two things. One is to cover racism up, and the other is to lie for them. Black people, anybody other than straight white dudes for Donald Trump are just photo ops.
Yo, something went down a few months ago that people are still buzzing about. And now it's part of a bigger conversation around Nicki Minaj, politics, and the real consequences when celebrities step into controversial territory. One of the loudest voices speaking up recently, comedian Hughley, who threw out a serious warning to Nicki Minaj. According to him, the same things Nicki thinks are protecting her right now could actually be the very things that bring her down later. DL even hinted that something shifted behind the scenes a few months ago, saying, "Something happened a couple months ago, and I don't want to talk about it." That alone got everyone's attention because it sounded like he knows more than he's letting on. And things got even messier when the White House dropped a statement about something Nicki had been publicly celebrating.
Say it's cool, but when it's a bunch of celebrities out here taking and committing suicide and themselves, it's not fucking cool. It's not fucking cool because you think because it's not on you when the heat is not on you. Of course it's cool. If you felt the heat, it would not be fucking.
During a political rally earlier this year, Nicki proudly flashed what she called a gold card tied to Donald Trump. At the time, some fans thought this meant she'd received special recognition or political support, but the White House quickly shut that down. Officials confirmed the gold card was just a souvenir, no special political status, no citizenship, nothing official. And according to people who were actually there, the moment had the room cracking up.
Probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more.
Critics later argued that Nicki might have misunderstood the moment, thinking people were laughing with her instead of at the situation. After that, the conversation around Nicki's political leanings started heating up even more. And now, a fresh report from Politico just poured gasoline on the fire. According to the report, researchers digging into Nicki's social media found that thousands of accounts promoting her pro-Trump posts weren't real people at all. The analysis was reportedly done by a company called Cyabra.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business.
Cyabra, the company that specializes in spotting fake social media activity, made some eye-opening discoveries. They estimated that over 18,000 accounts interacting with Nicki's political posts looked like automated bots, artificially boosting engagement. At one point, researchers said roughly 56% of the comments under some of her political posts came from accounts that didn't seem real. If that's true, more than half of the apparent support for those posts could have been completely fake. And of course, the irony didn't go unnoticed online. For years, Nicki has hyped the power of her fan base, the Barbs, talking about how fiercely they ride for her. But when it came to that pro-Trump post, the actual organic support might not have been anywhere near as strong as it looked.
His SAT score, and there was a conservative or a MAGA influence, I guess, and tried to intimate that he was denigrating black people. That he's like, I'm just like you. And what I find particularly ironic is some of the MAGA influence, the black influencers, who didn't.
Instead, much of the engagement may have been completely manufactured by automated accounts. Despite all the criticism, Nicki insists it doesn't faze her. At one point, she even said, "I am probably the president's #1 fan, and that's not going to change." She added that the backlash only fires her up to keep supporting him. But critics argue it's easier to say you're unbothered when your personal and professional life isn't under serious pressure. While Nicki was publicly brushing off the heat, her legal situation was reportedly getting more complicated behind the scenes. According to TMZ, Nicki Minaj's lawyer, Matthew Abbott, recently pulled out of representing her in a $10 million lawsuit.
Those black MAGA influencers do not see racism when it exists, but have no problem not seeing it. Like, they don't see it when it's actually there, but they have no problem pretending to see it when it ain't. And they use those big lips to do two things. One is to cover racism up, and the other is to lie for them. Black people, anybody other than straight white dudes,
Court
for Donald
documents
Trump,
reveal that Abbott asked the judge for permission to step down from the case after claiming he hadn't been able to reach Nicki for a long time. In his filing, Abbott reportedly said Nicki stopped answering calls, texts, and emails, leaving him unable to properly represent her. The lawsuit itself was filed by a man named Tamir Peak, who claims Nicki falsely accused him of serious criminal behavior and harassment. Peak is seeking $10 million in damages, arguing the accusations damaged his reputation and personal life. And here's another eyebrow-raising detail. Abbott isn't just any lawyer. He's also tied to Nicki's management team, meaning her legal representation was closely linked to the people running her career. So, when he says he couldn't get in touch with her, critics argue that it points to deeper issues behind the scenes. Some observers have even asked whether Nicki believed that aligning with powerful political figures would make her untouchable, but reality seems to have played out very differently. Since that rally earlier this year, Donald Trump hasn't publicly mentioned Nicki even once. The political spotlight moved on fast, leaving Nicki still dealing with the fallout from her decisions. D.L. Hughley has been particularly outspoken about this dynamic. He argues that some political movements only highlight minority celebrities when it serves their messaging, and once the usefulness fades, the attention disappears just as quickly. He said, "Black people for Donald Trump are just photo ops." According to Hughley, once a celebrity stops fitting the narrative, they're replaced by someone else willing to play the same role. Things got even messier when Nicki recently criticized California Governor Gavin Newsom. Newsom had been speaking at an Atlanta event about growing up with dyslexia and struggling in school. During his speech, he joked about scoring a 960 on the SAT, explaining he wanted people to know he wasn't perfect academically. He said, "I'm not trying to impress you, I'm just trying to impress upon you that I'm like you." But clips of his speech were quickly taken out of context online, with some claiming Newsom implied black audiences were less intelligent. Nicki shared the clip and slammed Newsom, writing that it sounded like he thought the audience couldn't read and was speaking slowly as if they were children. D.L. Hughley quickly pushed back, saying Newsom's comments were about his own academic struggles, not anyone's intelligence. He also called out hypocrisy in the reactions, noting that some political influencers who accuse others of racism often stay silent when offensive behavior comes from figures they support. Hughley referenced a controversial meme involving former President Obama and Michelle Obama, which critics called racist, pointing out that many who condemned Newsom stayed silent on that. According to Hughley, this illustrates a larger pattern in political media where outrage is often selective. And that brings the focus back to Nicki Minaj. Critics argue that by diving so aggressively into political debates, she may have hurt her credibility with fans who originally supported her just for her music. When celebrities enter highly polarized political spaces, they can gain passionate supporters, but they can also lose large portions of their audience. In Nicki's case, the timing of everything happening at once has made the situation even more complicated. She's facing a $10 million lawsuit, her lawyer has stepped away, political allies who once seemed supportive have gone quiet. On top of that, ongoing discussions about her husband's legal issues add another layer of scrutiny. All that pressure is tough for any public figure. Some say this could just be a rough chapter in an otherwise successful career. Others believe it could mark a major turning point, potentially reshaping her public image. For now, Nicki continues to insist publicly that none of the criticism affects her, but the situation has sparked a broader debate about what happens when entertainment, politics, and personal controversy collide.
Once those worlds intersect, the consequences can be far bigger than a single viral moment. And the big question now is simple. Is this just a temporary storm around Nicki Minaj, or the start of a much bigger shift in her career? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Nicki can recover, or is the damage harder to repair this time? Stay tuned for the next deep dive.